Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Monday, April 1st meeting of the Village Planning Board. Thank you for coming in the delay, your patience with the delay. We'll entertain a motion that the meeting be called to
Make a
order.
motion to open the April 1st meeting of the Southampton Village Planning Board.
April 2nd.
Second?
April 2nd meeting.
Second? Says-
Today is April 2nd.
No.
Oh, it's April 1st.
It was April 1st when I woke up
It
this
is April
morning.
1st, so we need to change the date on that decision, sorry.
I know you're hustling, council, I know you're hustling, I know you're doing more than one board,
What decision?
and we can, that stuff we can, this is still
There
April
wasn't a
Fool's.
joke intended.
It's still April Fool's Day,
Still April 1st.
okay? Is the motion is seconded? Aye. Jane?
Aye, yes. Aye.
Aye.
All the ayes have it.
On first.
Okay, thank you.
What's dated
The
April
first
2nd?
item we're taking up is the Beechwood Latch proposal, and we have in front of us
Mr. Epley is going to recuse himself.
to vote, oh, sorry, yes.
So you have a decision in front of you approving the application as amended. As a way of background, you first heard this in January of 2016. You then subsequently appointed yourself as lead agency and did a coordinated review, ultimately going through the draft environmental impact statement through the stewardship of Mr. Cleary, arriving at a final impact statement in the fall of 2017. The applicant then was referred back to the Board of Appeals for its analysis of this, and through a number of hearings over 9 months or so, the Board of Appeals the applicant amended substantial portions of the project, reducing the gross floor area, changing the driveway, eliminating one use out of the Terry Cottage, agreeing to retain the latch building in situ, reducing the setback variances needed, and the Board of Appeals then granted a decision approving the amended application on July 26th of 2018. The matter then came back in front of you in the fall. Amended plans were finalized again in October of 2018. You commenced a public hearing on February 4th, continued to March, at which time it was closed, and so now you have before you a decision highlighting those events and including as part of the decision the findings of fact of the Board of Appeals of July 26, 2018, your own findings on September 5 of 2017, and containing a schedule of various conditions and requirements mostly directed toward the building phase of the application. And the application itself is based upon 6 conditions, one of which is contribution to or compliance with the county housing law, and also payment of a park fee, both of those which will be completed prior to the issuance of a building permit. So an affirmative vote on the motion would be to approve the amended plans.
Thank you, Bo. I'm happy to call for a vote. It's just, do we need to call for any further comment, because we closed that at the last meeting?
I'd just also like to mention Mr. Cleary did a wonderfully detailed job throughout this project. It was a substantial,
That's my
detailed
speech.
matter, and he stayed on top of it, and I think gave you good guidance and direction throughout the process.
I agree.
So
We
no
had-
need for any comments necessarily.
We got good work from them. The only comment I will make is that in all these and others, we've had it often, and it's a major issue in the villages, we all know, but parking is a major issue for this tiny little village. The number of houses, the number of cars, where they park, how they go, the streets, when you can park at night. And I hope that Patrick struggled with us on this one too. We had a parking study that, as I read it, was fabulous for saying what happened at the intersection of Moses Lane, and it didn't say much else. I've read lots of project studies, even here. I've been involved in some as a proponent. It would be awful nice for our advisors and for everybody else to pay real attention to the parking. Sometimes it's insoluble because we're all living together. So that's a comment I'd like to make for the record, that in the future, as much attention as possible to in and out and occupancy. A lot of people think that this is too dense, there maybe should have been fewer units, but it is a material improvement on what was there before over a long period of time. And so it is a enhanced non-conforming use that's being approved. And I think in the circumstances, something that is conforming is not the right alternative for the neighborhood. That's my opinion. I'd like to call for a motion that we approve it. However, any other members have a comment to make? Pam, anything else? Okay.
I make a motion to vote on the conditional resolution of approval for Beechwood Latch.
To approve.
To
The
approve.
conditional resolution of approval. To approve the conditional resolution.
Conditional approval, all the conditions that council outlined.
Approve the
We're approving
conditional
The
decision,
conditional
resolution.
decision with the conditions. I will point out that one of them will come back to us, at least one of them will come back to us subsequently, which is a amount of money to be paid to the village in lieu of having non-conforming, or let's call it special housing in the
Workforce
portion of it, proportional housing. There's an option under the law to pay a fee in lieu thereof, and our council will work with the village to determine the amount of that fee, which will be determined, and Mr. Cleary advises us it is a substantial fee given the size of this and what's involved, so it should make the village happier than not having such a fee. Does anyone want to second that motion? Seconded, okay. Jane? Aye.
Aye.
Okay. You have the memo to mark, madam? Thank you. Okay. Thank you, Patrick.
You're very welcome.
You can abandon ship. Have a lovely evening. Thank you for being here. Kathy will again fill in your shoes.
Spare a
Which one? Take this. One little pencil. Go, you've got to mark it the first someday.
Thank you, guys. Do you want a copy of the decision? Oh, yes.
Yeah. Hope that's satisfactory, sir.
Yeah, I'll mark that out.
Thank you for your patience.
Thank you.
Decision will be marked the first, April Fool's Day decision. Pam, you might just put
The young man back.
Pam, on
We
that.
didn't even say we were going to.
So the first one, that you sign.
Hi, Bo.
It even had a date on it.
He hasn't, but if anyone has.
Say the first. Yeah, just put the first, okay, and your initials next. Okay. Thank you. All right, the next item is McDonald's USA, and a great deal of work has been done on this. Kathy, you had some things, and the village engineer were reviewing the last time we, as I remember.
Yes,
And what is the status thereof?
there is a number of items that I identified in a memo last week after we had our
Right.
work session.
Yep.
But I would expect that the applicant will have some answers for us during the public hearing. So I would recommend that you
Okay,
open
then I'll
the
entertain
public
a motion
hearing.
that we open the public hearing.
Aye.
5 ayes. Thank you. Sir,
Good evening, Mr. Chairman. Members of
have
the
you
planning board,
here.
how are you?
everything done?
Yes. Everything's done.
Okay.
Approved site plan.
So
Excellent.
what do we know?
My name's Keith Brown. I am here on behalf of McDonald's USA LLC's application for site plan approval in connection with its renovations to the existing McDonald's restaurant and conversion of the tandem drive-through lane into a side-by-side drive-through at the property located on North Sea Road. Prior to today's hearing, a hearing notice was sent via certified mail and regular mail to all owners within a 200-foot radius of the property in compliance with the village code. In addition, a hearing notice was posted on the property in compliance with the code. And original affidavits and mailing and postings on forms provided by the board were executed today, and they were just submitted to your lovely clerk here to my right a few moments ago. The property is presently improved with the McDonald's restaurant. Village records indicate that the property was originally erected circa 1970. As such, this fast food restaurant has been operating on the site for approximately 48 years. As you are aware, the property is owned highway business and currently developed with the existing restaurant and associated parking facilities and tandem side-by-side. The existing building is 2,380 square feet. The applicant proposes to convert the existing tandem into side-by-side drive-through and add 2 bump outs or expansions to the rear of the property, totaling 287 square feet, to provide additional kitchen and dining space. I will note that the actual number of seats in the dining room is actually decreasing, and there's no added parking being sought by the Village Zoning Board of Appeals, who we've appeared for several times.
Is there any reason for the reduction?
There is. It's to make it ADA compliant because of the distance between the tables. It doesn't allow for wheelchairs to get through, so that's why the actual number of seating is actually decreasing.
Thank you.
Sure. The subject property is bounded to the east by North Sea Road. At the northwest and southern lot lines, the property is bounded by other commercial uses, including Southampton Tire Center, People's United Bank, and the Hampton Center for Rehabilitation and Nursing. The uses of the neighboring parcels are in harmony with the continuation of the historic use of the property as a fast food restaurant, together with a modified drive-through and expanded footprint. Respectfully, the subject property fits in well with its neighboring community and has done so for more than 48 years. The redesign of the site by McDonald's is intended to enhance the appearance of the restaurant, provide for better on-site vehicle circulation, and to offer McDonald's customers an improved and more convenient dining experience. Our office is in receipt of Nelson Pope's most recent comments dated March 27th. I will say this project has been heavily vetted by your outside consultant. This is the third such memo that we've gotten from them. We've responded to the last 2, and we have with us our civil engineer, Mr. Martin Swaggart, and we also have, Alan Roscoe. Sorry, Martin's not here this time.
We're interchangeable.
Good.
As well as our traffic expert, Mr. Paul Going.
Yeah, okay, that's what we do when we think in our role, hearing from the traffic expert is
So-
what we all ought to do.
In short, our engineers and traffic experts have incorporated and responded to the greatest extent possible to all comments and questions raised by this board and its consultants, including but not limited to the traffic analysis prepared by Atlantic Traffic addresses the safety of left turns onto North Sea Road for vehicles exiting the property and addresses the delay in drive-through queuing due to the vehicles exiting the property. Mr. Going will explain in a few moments that the whole purpose of the side-by-side is to allow for more vehicles to get through the drive-through and alleviate any potential queuing that may back up into North Sea Road. Second, the existing and proposed condition photometrics plan is being prepared and will be submitted as a supplement to the board as soon as possible. Core States has confirmed, and pursuant to the site plan drawings, they will ensure that the property does not experience ponding during extreme precipitation. We understand that this was an issue several years ago, and we believe it has been eliminated. We haven't heard of any ponding happening for some time now. So we note the comment that's in the memo.
It came from the village engineer, I think.
Yes.
Thank you.
Core States has also confirmed, in pursuant to the site plan drawings, that we have revised the drawings to provide further drainage flow calculations and a modified Suffolk County Department of Health Standards food establishment permit has been applied for and will be obtained as soon as possible. The site plan drawings have been revised also to provide for further grading details with respect to the handicapped accessible routes. And last, the site plan drawings have been revised to include improvements within the village's right-of-way, specifically the north and south concrete aprons and warning strips for the sidewalk ramps. And in particular, one of the members of the ZBA was concerned about individuals exiting the building on the south side, having children, and the children darting out in front of a vehicle going through the drive-through. So what we did in that case, we put on the plans, you'll note it says guardrail, but it's really a faux wrought iron rail that goes out almost like a fence in front of, like right on the curb where the sidewalk is, to prevent any children or pedestrians from just simply walking right out in front of a car. So they would now have to come out, exit the building, make a left, stand there, and then they'd be able to perfectly see a vehicle that might be exiting. In addition, the chairman of the zoning board was very concerned about on-site litter, so he asked us specifically to come up with a sticker to put on the drive-through window both in English and in Spanish, that says, "Please be kind to our neighbors, dispose all refuse in proper containers," which we did. I personally reached out to the sign vendor and got the stickers made up.
Good.
So, all right.
I get this stuff over on 2 miles away on Tuckahoe Lane quite often, so it's
Yeah.
a good idea.
Understood.
I'm all
So,
for it.
we have both experts here tonight to answer any questions that you may have. We feel like we've responded to all of the comments that have been raised by both the zoning board and the outside consultant and Ms. Eisman's firm, Nelson & Pope. We would hope that if you have any questions or desires to kind of get through site plan approval, we would love it if we could possibly obtain site plan approval subject to receipt and compliance of the photometric plan with the village's requirements. So with that, I'll turn it back to the board. That completes our presentation.
Is this been through the ARB? Does the ARB have any jurisdiction over this?
I don't believe
I don't
we-
think any sign, not much is changing up.
No.
No, I've been a
No, and
customer
nothing's
for
changing, by the
48
way.
years, and it always looks the same. but I know
By the way,
it's
nothing's
changing.
changing operationally at all. It's going to function exactly the
Well, I mean,
same
just in
way.
terms of the optics. We always put the visible and signs
Painting
and
the
everything.
building?
In the back, again, just for the, where the kitchen area is on the one side and some storage area on the other side.
Should be an ARB issue, Keith. Do you want to call the building department tomorrow and double check that?
We could do that.
Yeah.
They're also changing where the front door is and, putting that new thing in the front. I don't know how to explain it, but like a new sign panel. So it is
The
a
arcade,
different,
you mean?
it is different, the building is going to look different, so.
Okay.
I don't
You
mean to
want to
bring it
take
up.
that
to-
sign down and make it a little lower.
Which side? The ground sign itself? The Golden Arches?
Well, I know in some of the villages, they've made it look a little inconspicuous, so I was just, thought maybe you might want to go with the times.
Okay.
I bring it up so there isn't something, as you get underway, that's at the last minute. I know the ARB was very concerned, for instance, about your next neighbor, what would happen almost inch by inch at the gas station. It went from Gulf to BP, and they were very concerned that, what had grown up over 25 years
Right.
could be improved. And so I know it's an area that, as a board, they're interested in for what I'll call the larger optics of the village, which is one of their assignments. So if it's an issue, you can get it done quickly, I'm sure, because I'm sure all the stuff you've done has been, I think you had the numbers up on the sign when I went there 48 years ago. How many have been sold that I was eating the next one of? Okay? It changes. So it would probably be a good thing to do.
Okay.
All right, Kathy,
I would
any
recommend that-
observations?
Yeah, if we can hear from your traffic expert, I think that would be
Okay, on that,
helpful.
okay, yeah.
I understand from talking with your associate that the traffic letter was updated since this board received it. The February 29th letter is the, 26th, I guess, letter is the one that the planning board has, and we haven't received the March letter, which he said, contained a response to this.
Not a problem.
So I think
Sure.
those are the questions that I heard from the board most at the work session, so.
With that, I'll defer to Mr. Going.
Okay.
Okay.
My name's Paul Going with Atlantic Traffic and Design Engineers in Hauppauge. We prepared a letter, and the most recent update of it is March 19th, 2019. And just to focus, I think, on what the subject of interest is for the engineer, we took a look at the traffic operations of the driveway, specifically the egress driveway onto North Sea Road. And we collected data at the site. We collected that data on Thursday, September 20th, and Saturday, September 22nd of 2018. And based on the existing site traffic, we projected that the proposed expansion may result in 44 additional trips to the site, or 22 customers in a peak hour. And specifically at this site, the weekday lunchtime was the highest peak hour of the week that we saw. As Keith previously said, this site's been here for about 48 years, has an established customer base. It's actually unlikely that the 287 square foot expansion is going to result in a great number of additional customers. But in any case, the conservative projection, if the number of trips increases proportionate to the square footage, we would have, again, those 44 additional peak hour trips. We analyzed the driveway with those 44 additional peak hour trips, and we found a level of service D in the left turn lane, the driveway striped with a separate left turn and right turn lane. We found queuing of fewer than 3 vehicles in that left turn lane. The right turn lane we found operating at a level of service C, a little bit better than the D at the other driveway, and a driveway queue of 1 vehicle. So the 3 vehicle or less than 3 vehicle driveway queue in the left turn lane is accommodated without impacting the drive-through itself. So we don't anticipate that movement will result in further backup of the drive-through itself. And just to add, Keith had said operationally there's no difference, but there is a difference, which is not for the building, but the site, we're putting in a side-by-side drive-through. Currently, the drive-through at the restaurant is...
Of course. Side by side is 2 lanes to come in, 2 lanes to order,
Correct.
1 lane to exit, you get the food, and then 2 lanes after you get the food.
Goes the other way around? Never get that right. I'll let him just it, yeah.
So the restaurant today has what we call a tandem drive-through. There are 2 menu boards. They follow one after the other. So the restaurant can take 2 orders at once. It makes it operate more efficiently, and they can serve people without getting too much of a queue backing
More
up.
exit speed.
I wouldn't say speed, I would say frequency. People are still driving at slow speeds. But
Efficiency.
Can we turn that on, Charlie? Thank you.
So in the proposed condition, we have the side-by-side drive-through. It also has 2 menu boards, but the 2 menu boards are as the 2 menu boards. The 2 menu boards are side by side. So you have a car on the inside at a menu board and a car on the outside at a menu board.
Right.
So while both the tandem and the side-by-side can take 2 orders at once, at the side-by-side, if there is an order that's a larger, complicated order, potentially you could have 1 or more, 2 or more vehicles processed through the other lane, essentially. This is something that McDonald's is doing across the whole country, throughout Long Island, and it's safe and it's an efficient way to process drive-through. It decreases the queue that's going to form, but it also queues up more vehicles in a smaller space because of the parallel nature of the side-by-side. At this particular restaurant, currently, the drive-through can accommodate 15 cars in queue without backing up onto North Sea Road. And in the proposed configuration, it can accommodate 19 cars in queue.
Okay.
So it's a safety enhancement as well as a customer service enhancement.
Okay. I'm sure you use projections or something. Is it, when you do something wonderful like this, is it assumed that there's any customer change? You're going to get more people to come there and use cars as opposed to parking?
Well, what McDonald's has found over time is that more people are coming in cars these days. Going back about 10 years ago, about 50% of McDonald's customers were using the drive-through and coming in a car. Today, that's at some sites close to 70%.
Does that, the 4-car queue, does that did you find that that would take care of all the traffic that was on North Sea Road? So I know there's cars waiting to come into the drive-in. Did you guys find that would?
When we observed it, we didn't see cars backing out onto
Okay.
North Sea. I understand
Yeah.
anecdotally that they do, but I believe that this system will operate much better. It stores more vehicles,
Yeah, 4 more.
but it also processes the vehicles more efficiently.
Okay.
So just a question. So you said that if we have 3 cars possibly in the left-hand lane, that won't interfere. So I don't see a distance from basically from the pavement to where that crosswalk is. And so I'm assuming you use something like 18 feet per vehicle or something as a standard? Okay.
This is 20 scale. So with 18 feet per vehicle, 48 feet would be around here.
Okay.
Of course,
But you have a
this-
lot more with the pavement, so the edge of pavement is actually, see
The edge of
curb line,
pavement
yeah.
is about 72 feet from the stop line.
Okay.
It is,
Good.
70 foot the stop
That's
line,
good. Thank
okay.
you.
Yeah, thank you.
Did you see if there was a time, like those 3 cars are waiting to make that left-hand turn? Do you know, like the average, are they waiting like a minute? Are they waiting 30 seconds, like per car to make that turn? I know it's all based off the light, but,
I gave my copy of
So
the,
here, why don't you take that back, yeah? The level of service D is slow.
yeah, level of service D is a little slow, but acceptable.
Except means we can't do anything about it, I assume.
In this particular case, it's an average of 27.8 seconds.
okay, it's like 30 seconds.
Yeah. And that's during the weekday lunchtime peak hour,
Yeah,
which we
and,
found to be.
and that was what were the hours on the traffic? You just did the whole day for the 20th and 22nd? Or was it from,
No, I'll tell you. We did the breakfast from 7 to 9 a.m., lunch from noon to 2 p.m., and then on Saturday, lunch from noon to 2 p.m. And what we found the busiest hour was 12:30 to 1:30 p.m., so kind of what you'd expect.
But that was done in April, correct?
That was
September.
in September.
Oh, that was September. Yeah,
20th
it's
and
still
22nd.
off-season.
It's a little off-season. We tend to not do our counts when school's out, just because more people are on vacation. I mean, people come
Right,
here
but
on
we're a
vacation.
tourist area, so it's not necessarily the schools being out, but just we have an influx of people, that's all. So
Understood.
I'm sure it's going to be a lot more in the summer.
I believe it's because of the bus traffic too. That's why you don't do it during the summertime because of the bus traffic.
Correct. Any other questions?
What can we do about right turns?
What can you do about right turns?
Probably nothing, right?
You don't want to allow any?
No, but I mean, it's a major intersection on every dimension for the village and has been since McDonald's went in. And
Yeah.
to get across, it's 4 lanes. To get across, certainly to go north on North Sea Road is a bear. Going left, we know that. But even going right, the cars are coming around that aren't going there. We have it depends on the time of day.
Yeah.
And going to the village, it's a major entrance into the village.
Sure.
And I guess we can do nothing about it. We send them, if they can't go left, nothing we can do about it, I'm assuming. It's sort of it's there.
Well, we found more traffic turning left as they exit the site. I believe they're probably heading up to 27.
Yep.
And I think if you were to restrict the turn in one direction or the other, then you just end up that traffic would end up filtering through the residential streets. Yeah, which you don't want.
Okay. Jane, any questions? Okay.
Thanks.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you. So you'll submit a copy of this, we can do it by email, right? would you like copies of this?
So it's in the file.
There's
Morton,
one.
Yeah, we don't need.
We got one in the
Did you get one
file.
from March 19th?
Oh, let me see.
No, right? This hasn't been submitted to the planning board yet. I hadn't seen
It
it,
may
so.
have been because Andrew was out here on the 20th and he submitted,
Yeah, it may have gone to the zoning board, but I don't know.
I don't know what
It says March 19th via email, but I never received it, so.
okay. I'll follow.
But regardless, it'd be good to have it for the record, just for the file. Just housekeeping, so these plans are being revised. The plan's being revised for,
The minor comments that we just got on the internet?
Yeah, they were revised, and I thought Andrew was going to resubmit electronically end of last week.
Yeah, he did actually. That I know
was-
happened. So I'll send
Just
that
those
with the
4 or
traffic.
5 notation comments.
right, it said town of Southampton was one of the things.
Village, right.
So just curious, on the southern driveway where it's now concrete, is the proposal to replace it with asphalt or with concrete? That's where the cracking is.
Right. The understanding was to replace it if it was broken up.
Can you go to the microphone and speak,
Sure.
please?
Actually, and state your name for the record, please.
Sure. Alan Roscoe from Core States Group. Yes, to address your question, I think we had a keynote to one driveway, and the comment was to make it for both.
Right.
And if the pavement or the ground surface was broken up or cracking, that we would replace it in kind.
Okay.
So that's the way we worded our note.
Actually, it really was just, if it wasn't going to be replaced in kind, then to provide details if you were going to do asphalt, because there's asphalt on the northern entrance, but on the southern, you have these
It's
concrete
concrete.
pads, so. So, anyway, I was just curious how you were gonna address it, but
Okay.
you did it, you were
Just that
doing it
way.
in kind.
Just
Okay.
that way,
Okay,
right.
okay.
And that's a repair, maintenance issue. You know, we try to leave the site better than when we found it, obviously. I mean, this is a remodel program. We want it to look right. We clean out all the drainage structures, we make sure that all the striping is done. This will be either repaved or seal coated and restriped, so all the parking spaces will be fresh. It'll look like a new site even though it's been in place for a long time.
Is it anticipated during the project that the restaurant will be closed?
Yes, yeah, inevitably there is a full closure. In this case, we're lucky because we have drive-through and lobby. So if they're doing work on the kitchen, obviously we can't be open. But if there's just dining area work and the kitchen is open, we can have the drive-through operating. So, it's all about how we apportion the work. But the contractors that we have are really good at what they do, and they focus on McDonald's. So, if the drive-through is closed for renovations, then the lobby is open, that kind of thing. But there is inevitably going to be a full closure for a short period of time.
If all goes well, what's your time frame?
Well, we'd like to start this construction season if all goes well,
If all goes well, you'd anticipate this being done before summer starts?
Can I speak to that? Actually, it's slated for construction in September. Yeah, so
after
the
the
plan was, the plan was to get this all
Get it all
tied
permitted.
up, let the summer go past
Yeah.
and start.
Okay, okay.
And how long do you think construction will take? Like, how long you have to be closed for?
Yeah, all told, it can go 8 to 12 weeks, depending upon the
We
complexity.
call it daddy's cooking in my household, so 12 weeks, we're not going to have daddy's cooking.
Use the smoke detector as your timer, right? Yeah. It's this one, we've got additions, we've got, a fair amount of site work to do the side-by-side, so it would probably be on the longer end of that scale, but the contractors would know better than that. But we'll be communicative with you on our anticipated closure schedule, as we go through the building process.
Any other questions? Thank you, gentlemen.
That's it.
Bo and Kathy, do you?
Make sure there's no public comment, maybe?
Oh, that's right. This is the end of, possibly the end of a public hearing. Is there any public comment in the audience? Anyone have views on McDonald's?
Anything today?
Okay. I think what we vote on, Bo, is to close the public hearing.
I don't see
Wait,
a reason.
one thing.
Okay, Kathy, do you have any issues on closing the public hearing?
Before you close the public hearing, I will need you to vote on the neg deck, which I have prepared for your signature.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
Just needs to be done before you close the public hearing.
Before.
So we had done, before you close it, yeah.
Okay, thank you.
So we had reviewed an EAF Part 1, we did the Part 2, and identified no significant adverse impacts, and especially with the traffic study. Thank
Yep.
you. Recommended a neg deck, so do a resolution to adopt that.
Okay, I'll entertain a motion that we vote to approve the prior prepared and neg deck on this application.
So moved.
Second.
Aye.
Aye,
Aye.
Aye.
so the neg deck has been approved.
Thank you.
I've
This
signed
is
this.
what you want for March 19th?
I have one, okay, good.
Okay, so
That's,
we
I'm
have
glad
one
it's
in-
in the file.
I
So
just
you
got
don't
it
need to
tonight,
resubmit
yeah.
that.
The
Okay.
neg deck.
Thank you very much.
Okay.
I just, for some reason, didn't get it. Yeah.
This goes in, Kathy, this goes in the file as signed?
Yep.
I'll send it over to you.
Thank you.
I'll send it by email so you have it.
Okay, a
Close,
motion to close the hearing.
close the public hearing for McDonald's USA.
I'll second it.
Aye.
Aye,
Aye.
Aye.
okay, the public hearing is closed. Bo, then you do your magic. The only issue, it seems to me, is to make sure there isn't inadvertently here, or not advertently, any issue of a hang-up with the ARB.
Yeah, just check in with Chris Talbot.
I will. I actually just had my office look at, I don't have my, we do a feasibility when we start. I don't have it with me, but he checked it, and we believe that you're right. It has to go to ARB. So
Yeah.
we will, we'll endeavor to do that.
Meet
I'll-
twice a month, so you're,
Yeah. And I'll also, just for Ms. Eisman's file, I'll resubmit the site plans that Mr. Roscoe had done. I'll submit the traffic impact study just so she has it. We'll also submit the photometric plan upon receipt, all via email.
And the driveway vote.
Yes.
Okay,
Okay?
if you do that.
There was one more thing that I was speaking with Andrew earlier. If we could get something from the owner operator about the ponding, just to kind of circle back on that question. Have the drainage improvements that were made a bunch of years ago, have they been successful? I just remember there was a big pond in the back for years, but I went by a few times after rain events and I haven't seen any problems.
Yeah, like I said,
recently. I don't know, you've seen any?
like I said at the
That's
outset,
cooking.
I don't think there is any.
Okay, okay.
It's been a number of years since they addressed that issue. So if you want,
Yeah.
but what would you like?
I don't know, I mean, if nobody else, I just wanted to make sure that it's addressed,
If
so.
it's been addressed, if you could determine that that's their history. Because the village hasn't been worried for a number of years.
Yeah,
Just
I
got to
would-
confirm that it was successful.
Yeah.
I'm happy to, any here like to make this affordable, if we can deal
And it's
with
kind of-
Kathy
it's-
determining. Anyone concerned if Kathy determines for us?
It's really just an atypical request, though, to ask the applicant, to the owner-operator to
No,
verify.
I'm happy
that
to
they
do it.
haven't.
I don't think it is.
Just a quick letter would be, just so
Yeah.
that way we can answer Gary Gillespie's concern, so.
Sure.
That'd be
And we
great.
took your language and put it right on the drawing, so.
Okay, that's great.
No ponding, there's a no ponding section.
Okay,
Non-issue.
okay.
Good?
So then, with the ARB and Bo, you'll prepare,
so you close the public hearing and
Close it.
now adjourn the matter for all purposes.
for the next.
Make a motion to adjourn.
Okay, then we'll undertake a motion that we adjourn the matter, consent of all for all purposes.
And Bo, just to clarify, so we would come back after we're done with the ARB and everything's buttoned up and we get a decision from the planning board?
We can, the two can operate independently,
Okay,
Keith.
good.
Yeah.
So
Okay, great.
we'll proceed here, and whenever you get to the ARB, you can do that and eventually get that approval, and you don't, I don't think we need to condition this upon the ARB.
Okay, good.
No. just
Thank
so-
you for clarifying.
Okay,
Great.
is that all right with you? We're
Perfect.
going to adjourn it for those purposes?
Thank you all very much.
Make a motion
Thank you.
at the request of the applicant to adjourn McDonald's
For all purposes.
For all purposes.
purposes.
Second it.
Aye.
Aye.
Aye,
Aye.
Aye.
thank you.
All very much. Good seeing you. Take care.
Thank you all.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Kathy?
Yeah. I do.
Yes.
Oh, dear.
Yes, the
Signature preparer is different. Yeah, you're preparer. Thank you.
Sorry about that.
Thank you, Ben. Thank you. Okay, our next matter,
Back to you.
thank you.
File.
The next matter on the agenda is a tennis court that I believe is adjourned for a month.
Yes,
But
that's
we
already
have-
occurred. Yep.
We have another 3 that we can take up now. Notices came from Kathy on all 3 of them a few hours ago. So can we take them one at a time? Kathy, we have Old Town, Captain's Neck, and 180 Great Plains. And I think all of them go north and south. Well, I don't have to object to the
I
fact that,
think one of them doesn't, I can't
who
remember.
doesn't? So would be Captain's Neck?
I don't remember.
None of them may get used for tennis, despite their tennis
Yeah,
courts. But
okay.
the ones that go east and west are most certainly, in my view, not being used for tennis.
Old Town goes north and south, for sure.
Yep.
And that one, they've revised the plan based on our comments, and we prepared a resolution stating as such, so.
Okay. All right, then we would entertain I guess we get entertain a motion that we approve this application and ask council to prepare a decision for us to sign at the next meeting.
This is the decision, you have it.
Oh, we have it already? Oh,
Here.
God, thank you, Bill.
I make a motion to approve the decision for the 2 Old Town Lane tennis court.
I'll second it. Aye.
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 Okay. Then we have Captain's Neck Lane Realty, way down there. And that one goes north and south, Captain's Neck?
Don't know that I have the plan with me. Does it go north-south?
Is that the one that went east?
I think
They-
that's the one that goes
They both were the
east-west.
same day.
Yeah, I think that was the one that goes east-west, but they've always had a tennis court going east-west, and they're replacing it, so.
It's replacing it?
And
Oh.
they're happy with it that way, so.
It's a grandfather alleged tennis court. Okay, then we
There's a
can,
decision in the file to approve, I make a motion to approve the decision for 509 Captain's Neck Lane tennis court.
Seconded.
seconded, okay.
Aye.
Aye,
Aye.
Aye.
thank you. Then we have 180 Great Plains Road. It's over at the end, yeah. Okay.
This one is
Review is
north-south.
satisfactory.
Yeah,
They dealt with
this
the
one.
They dealt with the plants,
This one is.
spacing of plants.
Yeah, they changed the spacing of plants to be more realistic.
Yeah.
And, all right, so north is there. So it's sort of,
Close,
it's closer, yes.
all right.
Decision in the file, I make a motion to approve the decision relating to the 180 Great Plains Road tennis court.
I'll second it.
Aye.
Aye.
Aye,
Aye.
Aye.
thank you.
Sign these, your
Yep.
name is on the bottom.
Yep. One minute.
Just a copy of each one, yeah. Thanks.
These are all properly dated. April Fool's Day.
Yes.
Thank you. Thank you. Okay, the next matter on our agenda is John Danielson, which is adjourned. We have the 116 North Sea Road, where the public hearing is closed, and a further adjournment as they finish up there were a few last items before
Right,
you.
right.
Bill said they'd be back on, and he has a letter here confirming what he asked us to do with the planning meeting.
Yes.
He sent a letter confirming what he did
Yes, and
verbally.
you already voted on that, though.
I know. So we will we'll wait till the next meeting. Then we have Windmill Lane, that came in, who've now filed an application.
We skipped number 3, I think.
Oh, I'm sorry, excuse me, 6:30. Is there a matter up before 6:30? I have to accuse
It's
myself.
it's adjourned. It
There's
was
a letter
adjourned.
requesting
A last
adjournment.
moment adjournment.
Yeah, okay.
was adjourned or it was
It hasn't been
This is-
adjourned, but it's a
Oh,
letter
right,
requesting
sorry.
adjournment.
Yeah, this one just came in.
It's a letter
Request to-
requesting adjournment, Bo, that came in like
Yeah,
today.
Just
Yeah,
today,
so
yes.
you can vote on that to adjourn.
So we don't need to do lead agency. We'll wait until next time.
Okay.
I make a motion at the request of the applicant to adjourn for all purposes BRL Hampton Road LLC application.
I second it.
Aye.
Aye.
I can vote aye.
Aye.
Bo, adjourn means you're going to start over?
No, it just means your
Or just delay?
status folds over into the next meeting.
Thank you.
You were recused on this, are you
Yeah,
not?
yeah.
You can't vote on the
You should
adjournment.
Well,
recuse.
then I didn't vote on it.
Okay, I thought you
just
said
didn't
you
walk
had.
out of the room, but I
Gotcha, that's all right, Nia, you don't need it.
didn't know what you meant by no sweat. Okay. Windmill Lane, we got this at the planning group.
Also
Pam,
a note requesting adjournment for this application.
I see that. So we vote to adjourn it?
It's in order, it's in order. For adjournment.
Okay.
Make a motion at the request of the applicant to adjourn for all purposes 205 Windmill Lane application.
Second it.
Aye.
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 Thank you. Now, Murray Lane. My memory fades.
Oh, now we're on
You're from
205
Merlin?
Windmill Lane.
No,
Oh, we just adjourned that one?
205, that's adjourned. They got a lot of work to do.
Sorry, I missed it.
This one came in after work session, but
It came in, so this is, council?
This is seeking approval for the landscape plan because it's a flag lot, but the flag lot exists, it's there, and it's very well screened on the, what would that be? I guess that'd be the north side.
I have an aerial
As
here,
you're
John.
coming in,
if you'd
yeah.
like.
So what happened was we were before the Architectural Review Board, they approved the house, but Ms. Condren, who lives next door, had some concerns about the landscaping. So what we did was we decided to, the ARB, and you'll correct me if I'm wrong, Bo, but the ARB approved the house, but then said, come to the planning board for the landscaping plan, and they would like to see it on an advisory basis after you've looked at it. And they asked us to meet with the neighbor, Ms. Condon, to the west. So we met, I didn't meet with her, but Ed Hollander did in New York, did meet with Ms. Condon, who have an email from her. I'll try to get something more official from her lawyer or for her. This is from Elizabeth Condren. Thank you all for meeting with me and listening to my concerns, which the revised plan seems to address nicely. So really, what we did was we added these 5 London plane trees. That's where the Condren house is up here, and to try to have some visual
Can you show
buffering
on
between
here for me, John?
I'm sorry.
No, it's okay.
This is the subject property.
Right.
The existing flag is here. This is extremely, I can't imagine you'd do anything other than leave the existing vegetation on the north side because there's a very, very substantial privet hedge because the lot is currently developed and this house is going to be taken down and the new one built. But on the left, or the south side, to give us some room during construction, those will be, the vegetation will be removed, but they're shown to be replanted on the landscape plan. So.
The left side of the pole.
Yes, on the left side of the
Coming in on the
pole.
left side of the pole, that'll be
Left side
out
of
for
the pole.
construction and then put back.
Yes. We're
And
gonna,
she lives here?
no, she lives here.
She lives to the west,
Right on the
okay,
corner
gotcha.
of Old
Okay.
Town, and I think the family's owned the house for some time, if I remember. But she did meet with Ed Hollander, and was happy, they just wanted these 5 London plane trees added there. I did talk to Ed about how he thought they were gonna do. It's an obvious question. And he said he thought they could protect them during the winter to minimize any saltwater pruning.
Right down by the dunes. I wish him luck.
Well,
know, I
that's
hope
what the
it
neighbor
works. I
wanted,
hope it
so
works.
that's what,
So,
I hope it works.
that's what,
Okay, well-
I was gonna say, that's what keeps people like Martyrs and Whitmore, Worsley in business.
Okay, so,
I just had a question.
Sure.
So there's a couple of areas that don't have any screening at all, and the neighbor wasn't concerned about those?
Not at
Okay.
all, no.
Okay. And then just a minor question. there's something called out here, species G26,
Wasn't on the chart? I
which
just
is,
couldn't read it.
we're thinking it's a typo because there's a G25. So we're assuming that it
Where
is
is
the
it,
G.
Kathy? I'll just have Ed and Ms. help me prove.
Right,
So
right there.
Is that one of those little pods
It's
there?
one of those
G,
little G26, yeah, and then right next to it also.
And it's not on the
And
chart?
it says, we think it's G25 is what he means, because we don't see G25 anywhere
Oh,
else.
oh yeah, look at that.
So
Okay.
somebody
well,
has very good eyes in my office, is all I have
I'd
to say.
say.
They sure
wow.
do.
Me.
That's great. That is wonderful proof
Yeah,
that you
she's-
guys actually look at this stuff.
Come on.
I was thinking about you today, all day long, poring over this.
Yeah, you wish I
No,
didn't
that's
look at it.
real. No, that's not true. This is real. No, this is great because I can call the great one Hollander and say he's messed something up on his stuff.
So, I
Really
mean,
made my evening. That's what we'll do. And yeah, there was no concerns about.
so this is an area, I mean,
Yeah.
nobody said when they were doing screening for a flag lot that you have to do every single area. So there's 2 spots here and here that are, and that's on the aerial. It's here and here
Oh, they're open.
that are open.
I think this is actually pretty neat. It leaves it open.
I think it's nice.
It's sort of
Nice to
nice. And
actually
this is
have-
that parcel, I
Yeah.
think, so.
So that's the same parcel. Ah, okay.
It's either that parcel or
Does
part of
she own both
this.
of these parcels, maybe?
Either she does or this person who we know,
And who
but whose
doesn't?
name will not go mentioned.
So,
Private, yeah.
okay. Yeah, I mean, I'm a fan of having some views into properties, but it's rare here.
It's pretty interesting, you know, in the villages, in the non-estate area of the village. When I was a kid, everything was open. There were no fences, there were no,
No hedges.
I used to walk from
We're-
Elm
we're
Street
open till
through
we got deer fences.
used to walk from Elm Street through to my mom and dad's house in Hiller Street because there were no fences, there were no privet hedge.
Usually don't.
So, yeah, that's the way it was.
Keeping up with the
anyway.
deer.
Okay, that's all I have. Thanks.
So, but this has to go, you should probably adjourn it because the
For
ARB wants to
purposes
look at
and
it on
refer it-
advisory.
Yeah, so that,
So this, in other words, if we we have this application as a separate application, or just to refer it back to the, that was it, back to
separate,
the
it's a
ARB?
separate application to the planning board, but you'll make a motion to adjourn this for all purposes and refer the site plan to the BARHP for its comments.
For their input, yeah.
Before we make our decision, we
Correct.
should get theirs.
Yes.
And just so you know, I filed it, in anticipation of that, I filed it. I
Okay.
already have
That
it.
was the arrangement with the...
Well, since it came that way, I didn't want to know what's the procedure, because
Yeah. It's been unusual. It's been
I'm
unusual.
complaining about doing this more often, not less often, so.
We've done it when it's necessary, but this just happened to be a little atypical because the neighbor who voiced the objections didn't really express issues about it at the meeting. She was asked about the architecture and this and had no comment, so it came up only after the meeting had been closed.
So do you think that we'll have input for the 29th?
Yeah.
April 29th? Because then I
Because
can,
there's a meeting,
Yeah.
there's a meeting that's in
Meeting next Monday, meet on the 8th.
okay.
Make a motion to adjourn the 134 Murray Lane landscape review
there. Before I'm
for the
sorry,
applicant.
at this point, is it premature to ask if the board has any comments about it?
No.
Or-
You can ask us, and I'm going to tell you, I don't.
Oh, okay, yeah. I mean, obviously, it ain't over till it's over, but if you have any,
No questions.
okay.
So if everything comes back okay, then we could possibly do a decision for the May meeting.
Yes.
Okay, great.
More work for Bo, but there seems to be discussion about flag lots and the ARB and us to say, who has the bacon? Why does the ARB worry about flag lots if we're doing it? Or why don't we give up flag lots to them? I don't know. I don't know
Well,
what
the
that
issue,
discussion is.
the issue is that ARB is not concerned per se about flag lots. The ARB is concerned about privacy issues when a new house goes up,
Absolutely.
and flag lot development is a fairly consistent
Yep.
issue with that because you're all of a sudden putting a house on a flag lot that's surrounded by other lots.
Yep.
Many of the backyards or side yards where privacy over a pool is an issue. So
Right.
it's not the flag lot per se, it's just privacy.
Yeah.
And you guys are sort of dealing with the same thing, but you're not dealing with privacy from the house, you're dealing with screening from different directions. And screening on the
We're dealing with-
pole portion of the lot.
We're dealing with another aspect of privacy.
Yes.
And
So I think it's actually better to keep them that way, but others may have different
There's
thoughts.
been a discussion to merge them
Yeah.
and to give the tennis courts to the ZBA, at which point we'll have very little to do.
The planning board is more suited to review tennis courts, but if a variance is
They-
needed,
they
then the
lost-
ZBA gets
They
it.
lost the vote 30 years ago and got them. Okay.
So anyway, I was motioning to adjourn the application at the request of the applicant for 134 Maury Lane through to
Pearl.
the April 29th work session.
And refer the matter to the
And,
ARB.
pending receipt of review from the ARB regarding this application.
Seconded,
I'll second.
seconded.
Aye.
Aye.
Aye,
Aye.
approved, okay.
Thank you all.
Thank you, sir. Bo, the matter on the...
Yeah, that has been,
Appraisal,
I
that's
have
with you.
reviewed the final draft. That has been approved, so you might be just mindful of the fact when it comes back to the planning board, you can sign whatever is
Okay, 'cause
needed for the planning board.
we left, we approved everything, subject
Been approved,
to
and
the
I've-
execution of that agreement.
Right, and we've gone back and forth a couple times on the text. I have approved the text now.
Okay.
So if anything needs to come back for signature, you're authorized to sign.
And the minutes can show that when it comes back from council, it can be signed. But
From Mr. Bennett's office.
Yeah, we'll review it for you though, Alan, before you sign it. Just
he's reviewed it from council for
Yeah.
the applicant.
It's already
so-
been reviewed.
the map has been reviewed, the
Well,
final map?
not the map, the
Okay.
covenant.
No, this is
Oh,
the...
the covenant,
This
yeah,
is the
no,
covenant.
that's not me, of course.
No, this is just the covenant.
Okay.
Since he's reviewed it, when it comes back, we don't have to take it. The minute should show that. Okay. The next item on our agenda is to deal with May and Memorial Day
Already.
and Monday. And there's a session that Jackie sent to merge the work session into the June 3 meeting.
Is that what you want to do?
Is anyone against that?
I'm fine with that.
Okay, then the motion that we cancel,
Make it a little earlier. It's going to be
basically we'll do it at 5 o'clock. 5 o'clock, we'll have a combined work session and public meeting on June 3 and cancel the May 27 work session that would otherwise occur.
Second?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, thank you all. Now we have minutes, and I thank Jackie, she sent copies, so you can see what they are. The February 4th meeting, I think I went through and everyone else. Pam was absent, so we have a quorum of 4 to approve those. If we want to vote on them, I would make a motion that we approve the minutes of February 4th, 2019, with the 4 members present being myself and Zach and Jane and Roy. That's the motion.
Second?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye?
Aye.
Okay, they're approved. Thank you, Anthony, thank you. The February 25 meeting, I was missing. Roy ran that meeting, and I think Beechwood Latch was up, which meant that for the purposes of that topic in the meeting, Zach was not there. We discussed this with Bo last meeting, so I guess there are 3 people that can,
2.
only 2 that can vote on it. No, that's, the board members were Zach and Pam and Roy, 2 missing. So can we, what do? We exclude him from the minutes? He can't vote on
Yeah, just he'll not vote.
just so 2 people will vote on approving the minutes.
I thought there were 3 people at that meeting.
No, because I was absent also.
That's why I asked you the question. We were getting a little squeeze here about what's in. This is this is Robert's Rules of Orders of what approves the
We'll have
records
the
of
two
meetings.
people present vote.
Yeah, okay. That's why, you thought I was asking you a question just to test your knowledge. It wasn't. It was because we were getting a little squeeze on the people abstaining, okay? All right, so I'll make a motion that we approve. There'd be a motion,
Those present approve the minutes.
President, approve the minutes of February 25.
I'm sorry, Alan, let me revisit this. Vote to approve the minutes of the meeting,
Yep.
but exclude the discussion on Latch.
Latch. For one
do that.
attendee, yes, for one, that's the motion, will exclude him.
And then going to vote on the exclusion. Let the two people present vote
two
on the
votes.
exclusion. Technically, a quorum wasn't there, but, let's do what we can do. So make
Okay,
a
well, this is-
motion to
this is a
approve the minutes of February
Prudential
25.
issue. Okay.
So it was a work session, that's why. That's
Okay.
why they
It was
had.
a work
Yes,
session.
it was a work session, yeah.
Minutes of the work session, there's a motion,
All right, then just a motion to approve the minutes for the February, because it shows that there were only two people present for that.
Yeah, in the minutes, it shows that.
that's what I did.
All right.
Okay. And it says that, and you were absent too. So that's why this is the test, is that
Yeah.
what do we do with these abstentions?
Just approve the minutes as it was, and those minutes reflect the fact that there were two people present for that discussion.
Okay. There's a motion before the board that it approve the minutes of the planning meeting of February 25 of this year.
Second. Aye.
Okay, so the president, that it has to be approved by
Now, you can vote, Zach,
I can vote on this one.
because we're voting on the whole meeting.
Okay,
By
voting on the whole meeting?
Pam and Roy have proposed it, and so, and so Epley, Gilmartin, and Stevenson have approved the minutes will show.
Yeah.
Okay.
The other three of us weren't involved.
It's a little lost.
Okay.
Okay.
Now I get it.
Okay, then the third set of minutes is March 4, which again have gone out for review and everything else. I was absent from almost all of the discussion of Beechwood Latch for strange reasons and joined the rest of the meeting. And therefore, I ask that the,
Alan, are you referring to Latch or the Spur?
I'm Spur.
Spur. You
But
said
he missed the
Latch.
beginning of the latch. I think he missed that
I was
discussion.
late getting to the meeting for
Yeah.
some both legal and other reasons by a bit, and missed not entirely, most of the discussion on Latch, from which I'm not disqualified. Sitting in the playroom was Zach, okay? So that he missed that. So again, this is another one of those votes, which I think we have a quorum of
Yep.
myself and Pam and so forth, and Royce. So I'll make a motion that the minutes of March 4th of the public hearing be approved.
Second.
Aye.
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 Okay. Thank you. And Zach has not approved them because he was abstaining on the first matter. So they can be approved without his vote, according to what you said at our last meeting. Okay, thank you. March 25 is still underway, and we have a work session at the end of the month, the first Monday after Easter Monday. I'll entertain a motion. Anybody have any complaints or admonitions for Donnie's behavior?
Nope.
Okay,
Motion to
motion, we close it.
Close the meeting.
Second it.
Aye.
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 Thank you all very much.
All right.